Thanks, Green. On immigration, we've talked to so many Border Patrol agents and leaders who are just really worried and anxious about the possibility of Title 42 ending next week. Big picture, what is the administration doing right now to get ready for that?
So a couple of things that I want to lay out, and I kind of laid this out before, but I want to reiterate it here, is that we're doing the work. We're going to do this in a safe and humane way, and we will have more to share on the proposed preparedness next week before the December 21st date. But look, we also need Congress to act. It is important that they deliver the resources we requested for the border security and management. They need to pass the comprehensive immigration reform that we have put forth. On day one, the president put forth a comprehensive reform plan that dealt with protecting for dreamers, cutting down the asylum buildup that we have been seeing, especially because of what the last administration did, and they completely gutted the system. And we know that this has been a multi-decade-long problem. We need to modernize the system, and this is something that the president has put forth, and we are looking for Congress to act. We are asking Congress to act. And so, but in the meantime, what we have been able to do is the president, as I've mentioned before, has secured historic funding. We have 23,000 border security agents at the border, and that is the most amount that we've ever had, and that's because of what the president has been able to do. And we have worked to launch a historic anti-smuggling operations that are taking thousands of smugglers off the streets. But look, the reality is we need Congress to take action. We need to do this in a bipartisan way, as we have done, as the president has been able to do more than 200 times during his administration.
There's been some reporting out there that the administration is considering changes to the asylum policy, potentially making it so that only someone can only apply for asylum if they've already been denied from another country like Mexico. Is that true? Is the administration considering any changes to policy?
So look, I know there's a lot of rumors out there about that, a lot of speculation. I don't have anything to announce at this time or from here at this time. What I would encourage people to do is to read the Department of Homeland Security. They put forth a 6-point plan on how they're going to move forward with dealing with the post December 21st deadline when Title 42 indeed lifts, but don't have anything more to announce about any new plans from here. Okay.
Thanks, Green. DHS warned in a memo obtained by CNN this week that the end of Title 42 will, quote, likely increase migration flows immediately into the U.S. So I'm wondering, how many migrants are you expecting to try and cross into the U.S. through the southern border next week? And is the administration prepared for this anticipated surge?
So look, we have an intensive all-of-government effort underway to prepare. As I was stating earlier when I was being asked a question by Mary, we'll have more to share ahead of the December 21st deadline. But in the meantime, DHS is surging resources to the border. As you've seen, as you're probably seeing in El Paso, I talked a little bit about this on Monday, where over the last 72 hours, they've moved thousands of individuals out of the city. They're doubling down on the anti-smuggling operations that the president launched months ago. They're also working with our international partners to discourage disorderly mass movements across the border. Moving forward, expect us to continue leaning in on our successful strategies like these and like our parole program for Venezuela nationals, which has drastically reduced the number of Venezuelans attempting to enter unlawfully, and will continue to drive messaging in the region to counter disinformation from smugglers. So that's another thing that we have to keep an eye on, is how the misinformation that's going to be going out to smugglers in the next couple of days. And so we have to make sure we'll work together with all of you, our team will, to make sure that that doesn't happen, because that is one of the big issues that we're seeing when it comes to migrants trying to cross the border.
Are you aware of this warning from DHS, and do you have an estimate of how many people you're expecting will try and cross the border when Title 42
Look, I don't have an estimate to share with you. What I can tell you is that the Department of Homeland Security has put out a 6-point plan. As you all know, my Secretary Mayorkas Mayorkas was at the border just recently to talk about this plan, put out a statement. And so we are focused. We are focused and we are prepared. We will have more to share in the next coming days on this piece. But again, we have done the work from this administration by securing record funding, and we are asking Congress to act. We are not asking for political stunts. We continue to see political stunts from many Republicans out there, and that's not how we're going to fix this issue. They want to secure the border. We've been doing that work on our own, and we're asking them to, hey, you know what? There's an immigration reform plan that the president put out on the first day. They should work with us and do this in a bipartisan way.
Thanks. Americans clearly divided about immigration. From the White House perspective, though, should Americans be supportive or concerned with the end of Title 42, which obviously stops most migrants from being able to apply for asylum?
What Americans should know is that the president has done the work to deal with what we're seeing at the border since day one. What Americans should know is that the president put forth an immigration reform policy to make sure that we're dealing with a broken system, to make sure that we're able to protect dreamers, to make sure that we deal with the backlog that we're seeing with asylum seekers, to fix the gutted system that has been around for some time, but certainly was gutted by the last administration. And the work that the president has done, he wants to do this in a bipartisan way. But what we're seeing is Republicans continue to move forward with political stunts. Many of them are doing this, and we continue to see this over the last several months. So the president has done the work. He secured record funding. Again, I mentioned 23,000 agents that are at the border who are working night and day to protect and secure the border, and that's because of the work that this president has done. And we're working on anti-smuggling efforts as well. And so, look, what the American people should know is that we have taken the steps. We're taking the step to prepare for what is for when Title 42 is lifted next week, and you saw that from the Department of Homeland Security. Secretary Mayorkas was very clear about that. He laid out their 6-point plan when he was at the border just a couple of days ago, and this is an administration that has taken this very, very seriously.
But does the White House think that ending Title 42, a Trump-era policy, is a good thing?
What I'm telling you is that it was a court order that we are following. And we're going to follow the law when it comes to from what the court has decided to do. What I can tell you is what the president has done over the last 2 years to make sure that we're dealing with border security. We hear it from many Republicans, right? You guys report on it. Many Republicans say over and over and over again that we need to do work at the border, that we need to secure the border. But yet they refuse to work with us on this piece of legislation. Instead, what they choose to do is do political stunts. That doesn't help. Okay, go ahead, Emily.
Thanks, Greg. I have some follow-ups on Title 42. I know you said you guys are hopeful that the omnibus gets passed, but what kind of preparations are being done in case it doesn't and communities do get overwhelmed and need some resources? And also, does the administration fear that the end of Title 42 will lead to a spike in COVID cases in the country?
So let me just talk a little bit about there's $3 billion for border funding. So a couple of things, again, if Republicans are serious about this, we put forth some $3 billion plan that we are asking for Congress to support. Here's what it would do. It would ensure that the men and women of the Department of Homeland Security have the resources they need to secure our border and build a safe, orderly, and humane immigration system. The funding will integrate surveillance towers, inspect technology, Border Patrol rotary wing aircraft and helicopter aircraft sensor upgrades, tactical maritime surveillance system, and also law enforcement radios, faster asylum claim processing, and so much more. So we believe it's incredibly important to get that done as well. Now on Title 42, we are required by the court to lift Title 42, and we plan to comply with that order. And so, but Title 42 or not, every individual encountered at the border is screened and processed by Border Patrol agents before they are placed in removal proceedings. And like I've said a couple times already, Department of Homeland Security has been on top of this. We are prepared. We are ready to do this in a humane way and in a safe way. And so it is something that the president has been working on since day one of his administration.
you.